That's right.
All right, we are live. All right, everybody. Where are the people who were lining up in my comments for pre-show that wanted us to get on the air? Where are you guys? Okay. Guys, I'm actually sick, so bear with me. Also, guys, bear with me. Calvin and Paul will be able to do this show if I disappear. Just in pre-show warm-ups here, I've already disappeared a couple times or have frozen. Oh my gosh, I need some light on my face. So anyhow, guys, if you're just now watching, please, if you haven't done your subscription button yet, hit it now. Let's hit that subscribe button. We've already lost Calvin. All right, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. There we go. And great question, Hawkeye 2017. Okay. Before we get started, I'd like to know exactly from the guys who've already something in the pre-show comments. You guys not realize, but once I put the show up, go live, you can come on here and comment pre-show, and the comments will show up. That says at the end, coaches are being arrogant and saving stuff. The same stuff, guys. I would, before we get started on the game that was, let's find out what the coaches are saying, guys. Can somebody tell me what the coaches are saying? I would like to know. Okay. Kelvin is here. I would be the one experiencing internet issues. It appears to be Kelvin tonight instead. Keep trying, Kelvin. Keep trying, buddy. Keep trying. We got a black screen up here for you, but you just keep trying. Get in.
I know I lost them. All right. Well, it looks like, at least for the minute, I might be flying solo here. Not really my strength, but here we go. So, what do you say? Iowa won the game. Let's see here. This is great podcasting at its finest right here. So I know we're all here to talk about the game that was with Rutgers. I cannot see the comments that you're making. Would you pick her up? So yeah, hopefully Dean or Kelvin or Coach Hack, somebody can come rescue me, because I'm the plucky comic relief. This is I do not lead these things. I'm the sidekick. I'm the side piece. So I will, I guess, just say what I believe is I thought Rutgers is a pretty good team. They definitely have some really good wide receivers. It looks like Dean is back, thank God.
I'm here.
And Kelvin.
Everybody hear me?
So is Kelvin.
I can hear you, Kelvin.
I can hear you, Kelvin.
See you too.
Yeah.
Comical.
Good.
This is comical.
Good.
Okay, I thought I was going to be the one blown away tonight, but apparently it's got to be the software. It's got to be a software issue, guys, because this is just ridiculous. It can't be just a coincidence that all of us keep disappearing. Anyhow, let's talk about what?
Paul was trying to carry on
My
by
screen is
himself.
bad.
For some reason, nobody could see me either.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, welcome
All right.
back to the show,
So we're back.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
If Dean keeps freezing up,
okay?
you want me to take off or what? I mean, go with the news and go from there or what?
First of all, can you hear me when I'm frozen? Can you hear me when
periodically?
I'm frozen?
Yeah.
It's freezing up quite a bit,
right.
Dean.
Kelvin, just go ahead and start your thing.
Okay. The only news, well, the Bjorn girl has like 7 final visits, and she's not finishing her visits till November. I think she might be coming here to Iowa pretty soon, but she's going to take a long time to decide. I don't remember all 7 teams, but UConn's in there and Notre Dame. I think she's at Notre Dame this week, and maybe she was at the Notre Dame Purdue game and everything. My only other spot of news is that that it's going to be a great weekend in for the Indiana game, because some of our favorite players, they say over 80 of them, are coming for the 40th reunion of the 85 Rose Bowl team, 86 Rose Bowl, the 1985 team. And I talked to Malcolm Christie, who was
long.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of them. You know, some of the coaches are coming. I guess Bobby Stoops ain't making it back, but I talked to Malcolm Christie, who was on the team. He never got to play because of terrible back injury, but he just made the comment, I sure hope Ronnie Harmon comes back, because it'd be nice for him to come back and get a welcome back to the university and everything. We'll see if Ronnie actually comes, but that's going to be great to have 80-some players. Chuck said he hadn't seen Rob Houtland for a long time, and Rob's going to be back. And so, and that's my only news, really. So.
Okay. All righty. All right. Let's get going with some of these questions first before we get going. First of all, Hawkeye 17 says, I noticed that Raul's no longer with the Iowa beat reporting. Thanks, Govan. He isn't. He's gone crazy. He does a podcast, Instant Reaction, with Mark Morehouse, called Old Heads. The instant reaction show that they do right after the Iowa football game. It's hilarious if you ever want to catch that podcast. It's right after the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really anti-Kirk.
Okay. So, all right, Mike O'Moran's I'm sorry. Says, boy, I would have loved to have been it went away. Okay, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall at halftime to hear Phil's obvious chewing butt that he gave.
Absolutely.
This is gonna be part of our discussion tonight, okay? But we're just gonna talk about it. All right, I don't see if there's any other comments I should put up. Jason says, yeah, he's an idiot. Okay. He might be an idiot, but I like to listen to him. Okay, so we're all here. Jason,
he's in the news. He's in his news this week for his great monumental article he wrote in the Village magazine in Iowa City about Kirk sets the winning record, and he writes this long article throwing Kirk under the bus. That's why everybody is talking about Mr. Howe this week. And
Okay. All right.
yeah, he wrote some terrible things about Kirk, said he's a racist and a lot of terrible things, and that's why he's in the news. I'm gonna probably stop listening to his podcast now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. Hawkeye said he saw that. That's why he said he's gone crazy. I did not hear that, but I think one of the podcasts that Calvin sent me mentioned it. It was in the headlines, but this week I've been so busy seeing family, friends, and stuff, and I'm on vacation, so I didn't get a chance to listen to that particular one. All righty. Okay, let's talk about the game. Iowa beats Rutgers 38-28. Now I got to tell you guys, I did not watch this game live at the time it happened. I did leave my class reunion. As I was going out the door, I saw that the score, Iowa was trailing 28-24 as I went out the door. I turned on the car radio. What a treat it is to be in the state of Iowa and turn on WHO radio in your car to listen to the Dolph. Call the game again. That was wonderful. And so it was I had about 6 or 7 mile drive to go to get home. Plus I stopped at McDonald's to get some food. By the time I got home, Iowa had won the game 38-28. So that was just like, I need to get in the car and listen to Dolph more often. That might help Iowa.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so we start the game off with a kickoff return for a touchdown. I got to tell you, I don't think I've ever seen Weegan run as fast as he did that game. That was like, did somebody speed up the film on that? Because it looked like he was going about 1,000,000 miles an hour.
all he had to do is run straight. Nobody laid a finger on him. I mean,
I know it. And
he said it was the
he got a good block right there at the end.
He said it was the easiest return for touchdown he ever made because all he did was just run and nobody around and block people getting blocked. So cool.
Moses was impressed.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's that? I didn't hear what Paul said.
I said Moses was impressed.
Yes.
Moses?
The splitting of the sea, the parting of the sea.
Oh, he split the defense. No, he didn't. The defense didn't come over to him. They just watched him run.
Yeah, Kirk said, "Behold God's mighty hand."
Yeah. So, the game, I think Rutgers, flexed its muscles, had 21 to 7 lead at one point. Iowa comes back and makes it 21-21. In the second half, it was more defensive game on both ends. I think Iowa outscored them 17-7 in the second half. And so we kind of dominated the game. Offensively, if you look at the stats, they beat us all over the map offensively, but I believe we did win the time of possession. And so, guys, give me your thoughts on the game. Like I said, I only watched it on replay after I listened to the last 5 minutes of the game on the radio. So,
Go ahead,
Paul, why don't you give me your impression?
So
I just told Paul to go.
My impression is, first of all, we knew going in Rutgers had pretty good wide receivers. They, they delivered, right? Like, they lived up to the hype that Ian's.
Yeah.
He's got an NFL body, NFL skills. And there are few teams in the country that can stress a Phil Parker defense the way they did early. So there's that. They are just from, and I'm talking about Rutgers. They're a little bit Maryland-like, what you're used to seeing from Maryland as far as good at the skill positions. I thought Kaliak-Manis was good. I mean, he threw a really nice catchable ball, had nice touch. They're not Big Ten championship level in the trenches, and that's their missing link right now. I thought what they did
Hawkeyes
with
or Rutgers?
Rutgers,
Okay, alrighty.
and I thought how they honored the wave at the end of the first quarter. I was watching the game with my mom, and I turned to her and I said, "Dang it! Now I can't hate
Uh-oh.
them." So
I can never hate a team
Okay,
we beat
people who
every
didn't hear
time we
what you
play
just
them.
said,
I can never hate
Yeah,
a team that
hang
we
on for a
beat
second.
every time we play them, Paul.
Yeah. Now, before what Paul said, he can't hate them. What people didn't hear because there was a little, freeze and bing noise. That Paul was talking about that they honored our wave by doing the wave themselves for there, which was that. So thank you, Paul, for that. Paul, you're back
yeah,
from the DL list. Welcome back. Honestly, it's not Paul's fault that he was on the show this previous week. It's because they was having trouble with the schedule trying to work these guys in, and when I wanted to work them in, they couldn't work in. So I tried a solo show. It blew up on my face, and I didn't even try to promote it. I did about 20 minutes ago and just said hell with it. I was having all kinds of issues. Just stopped, and I didn't share it with anybody. I just let it alone. Just,
I thought the second half was really what I expected the game to look like. And I will say that, it was a real positive that the game kind of turned into a shootout in the first half, and the Iowa offense for once bailed out the Iowa defense. Usually it's, the defense just keeping us in the game, but in this case, it was really the offense that kept us in the game until the defense could make some adjustments and get some pressure and eventually get the turnovers. And so
It looks like we lost Dean, Paul, if you can hear me.
I can hear you and see you.
Okay. Yeah. I made the comment that you said you can't hate Rutgers. I said I can't hate them at all because we beat them every damn time we play them.
True.
I love them because we beat them. But anyway.
Well, if we'd have lost, I would have wanted to hate them.
What'd you say?
If we would have lost, I would have wanted to hate them.
That's right.
But
that is being a
after they
Hawkeye
did the whole wave thing, I'm like, dang, I can't hate them now.
No, and I don't want to hate them. I want to play them every game. So I want to go unbeaten, play Rutgers every week. But
yeah, and matter of fact,
one thing Chuck Long pointed out in his podcast today, when he says when you return, I thought this was interesting. He had all the analytics. We returned opening kickoff for touchdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when we did that in the Orange Bowl against USC and we lost the game?
Yes.
He said statistically, 80%, over 80% of the time, if you return the opening kickoff, your team loses for a touchdown. And he said the reason is that it just lights the team up that you ran the kickoff back for a touchdown. And then he said your whole team celebrates and then they relax.
Yeah.
And the other team, they just don't play as good if you return that first kickoff. I thought that was interesting that Chuck knew that. statistically. But anyway.
Yeah, I could totally see that because
didn't he? Never mind.
you know Kirk's always preaching about you don't want to get too high or too low, and you have when you return the opening kickoff, you hit these peaks and valleys with your emotions, and so yeah, I could see that.
That just flabbergasted me. I would have thought it would have been the opposite, but that's what Chuck said statistically. So,
Okay. So going forward, we should just run OB at the 1 and then score TD.
Mike's saying we shouldn't return it for a touchdown.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying stop at the 1, go out of bounds at the 1. I figured out what OB means. Go out of bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. So are we all set now here? Okay. Kelvin, did you give us your thoughts on the game?
Not
Just
yet.
quick.
No, not at all.
Thoughts.
Paul was on a roll. It's like.
Okay.
But anyway, my
Paul
thoughts.
Roll over because, as you guys.
My thoughts is that obviously it's resiliency that Paul brings that up about every week about Kirk's teams seem to be pretty resilient, but I'm sure glad that Phil came out and decided to turn the pressure up a little bit in the second half. Actually watching the first half, I watched the game again today. Calcamanis was just getting the ball was out of his hands so fast. It wasn't that we weren't getting a pass rush. It was just like he was getting open people.
Yeah.
And he was throwing to people that weren't open. And these NFL wide receivers, Chuck Long also said 2 of them guys are NFL guys.
Yeah.
The freshman Duff, who's 6'6", who just caught pass after pass. We don't know if he's an NFL guy or anything, but them other 2 guys are NFL guys. And it was like some of them, the first one where Lutmer let his guy wide open deep on him, that was bad coverage. But a lot of them were pretty good coverage.
Yes.
And just tremendous over-the-shoulder catches and catches behind them. But Calcamanis, he used to be the quarterback at Minnesota that completed 42% of his passes. Then last year, he had a great year last year for Rutgers. We didn't know it because we're in Iowa, but boy, what a great game. And he's one of the top quarterbacks in the conference, statistically.
Yeah.
We made fun of Rutgers' schedule, but they pointed out that they played Ohio. That gave them a game. Then Ohio went and gave Ohio State a game.
Yeah.
And then Ohio went and beat, was it West Virginia or something? So we can't really scoff at them playing Ohio, but Calcamanis is boy, he's really good, so.
And those receivers are really good.
Calcamanis was 24 of 40, 1 interception, 330 yards, no TDs, and his longest was a 43-yarder, and we sacked him 3 times. Guys, Mike, we sacked him 3 times. I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't keep track of the sacks.
Yeah. And the reason he threw that interception was because Llewellyn hit his arm as he was about ready to release the pass.
Yeah.
And then Rexroth picked it off. So, boy, that was a big play, obviously. Offensive line had another great day. I mean, Gronowski always has time to throw. Going into the game, I read a statistic. Gronowski had more time to throw than any other quarterback in the nation. on average, he had almost 4 seconds on every pass attempt. That was his average, which was like a half a second more than any other quarterback in the country. So, looks like we lost Dean again. So anyway, our offensive line, they've been there every game. We obviously have a great offensive line. Our quarterback, Gronowski, he was probably the player of the game, wasn't he, Paul?
Him or yeah.
I mean, PFF wise, his number came back. He got almost a 90 for a rating in PFF, which was the highest Iowa quarterback has been in a long, long time. And then 5 of the other top 6 players in PFF were our starting offensive line. So that kind of tells you, Gronowski, when you run for 3 touchdowns, and he completed again 2/3 of his passes, right? So that's a hell of a game,
Excuse me.
He runs when he's got to run, and he completed his passes. So
We're talking about. I was off the air here, so Gronowski.
we were talking about the Gronowski was probably the player of the game without a doubt, and then we talked about PFF scores where he got an 88 point something, which is the highest Iowa quarterback has gotten, and it's hard to remember when an Iowa quarterback ever got that high. Running the ball, throwing the ball, completed 66% of his passes. He was he the second leading rusher, I think. Ran the ball 16 times. Kept drives going by running the ball. And then our other top PFF scores were all off the starting offensive line. So not very many people on defense that really rated real high. So
here's a comment I want to bring up. I mentioned this the other night. Our offense won that game. When's the last time we as Iowa fans can say that? I know I said for a change of pace, the offense is the one that carried the defense in this game. Special teams, I felt like they did their job for the most part. But this time we needed the offense to step up. And that's going to be, in my personal opinion, as we see this year go on, it's going to be more and more like that, where the offense is going to have to step up. But I think the offense can do it. I really believe they can. I mean, they're going to need to get next week against Indiana. We might have to beat them 64-63. Wouldn't that be a hell of a game, guys?
Yeah. I doubt if we can pull that off, but it'd be awesome. But
yeah. Well, I hear that Vander Zee won't be back for this game, but they're on a bye week and they're expecting him back the week after the week of the bye, after the first game after the bye, which I believe is Penn State.
By the way, I just want to throw this out there because we're talking about the offense saving the game. First of all, and I love the Ferences, and I don't want Kirk going anywhere as long as he doesn't want to, but it's just different having a guy who I think is maybe a little more qualified to be offensive coordinator than what we had. We saw another kind of new wrinkle Friday night with the tight end screen. That's something we had not shown in our previous games. Against Iowa State, we had the slow mesh play. It just seems like we seem to have something we haven't put on film every week, and we have a competent offense.
Yeah. As far as the tight ends go, between two of them, they had 3 catches. Boname had 1 and Ortworth had 2. just for the clearance of the record. I want to point out here that Thomas asked when was the last time that Iowa could say that the offense won the game.
When was that?
Hackwell says last year. When? Okay. Our offense won that game. When was the last time Iowa fans could say that? Hackwell says last year at Minnesota.
I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
I don't remember the score.
I don't know. The game that I think was the game that I thought was most similar to this one in our history. Don Patterson asked when the last time a game was similar to this, and I said the USC bowl game. You know, where USC was just chewing our defense up so bad, and the offense was great that day. You know, with Nate Stanley and Amir Smith Marset and stuff like that. But Minnesota might have been pretty good call there.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little bit different with the USC. I mean, yeah, we were trading punches with USC until, you know, well, the thing was they couldn't block AJ Epinesa. They had no answer for him.
Yeah, we had no answer for USC's quarterback until Epinesa took his arm off.
True.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was just gonna say that game flipped from being a game where both teams were scoring at will to only Iowa scoring at will. All right. Hackwell says, "Do you really think Indiana could score 30 points against Iowa?"
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I was joking when I said that. I was joking when I said that Iowa would have to win 64-63. I don't think either team will score that much tomorrow. Although Illinois is a pretty solid team.
Indiana could score 31 points and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, Rutgers scored 21. Why wouldn't you think Indiana's could score 10 more points in a half? You know, Indiana looked like a well-oiled machine. You know,
we will talk about Indiana on Tuesday night, but I'm going to just say they beat up a top 10 team, 63-10. I think was the final score. I mean, what the hell? Was that just luck? Was Illinois caught sleeping? You know, they had 300 yards rushing in that game alone.
Yeah, I didn't see the game. I think I probably should, but I'm just gonna guess it was one of those situations where it started snowballing on Illinois, and then
Indiana just looked really. If you watch the game, Indiana just looked really good, Paul. It hurt that Illinois lost 3 defensive players in the game, but they just Indiana executed on offense over and over again. They got 3 All-Americans on defense. Indiana does, and Mendoza. I don't know. I said on 3 that he's got to be one of the top 3 picks in the NFL draft. He just looked like Dan Marino, except he can run. Yeah. But that was one game.
The sad thing is, brother. Yeah, sad thing. Every bit as good, and will be the quarterback next year.
Yeah.
All right. Hackwell says again. I'm having a little trouble here, guys. Hackwell says you notice what happened after the adjustments. Parker will be ready for Indiana.
True.
He will be. But the problem is will the players be ready? Okay. Rutgers scored 21 points in 3 drives, 7 the rest of the way. And I did point that out earlier in the podcast.
Yep.
All righty. So unless this thing goes out on me, I wanted to give some quick stats on the game. Okay. Moulton was our leading rusher with 68 yards.
Good to have him.
Yeah. Brunowski Was our second leading rusher, was 62 yards, but I think his net was like 55 or something. Patterson had 37. McNeil had 10. Nobody else had any rushing yards. So we rushed for a total of 177 yards. I think this is going to become something we want to keep an eye on the rest of the season. But Weegen had 187 yards, all-purpose yards.
Pretty good for
183. 183.
Yeah, 103 on the first play of the game.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on that. But
yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I was just going to say, that might be a stat we want to keep an eye on. But however, because he scored, and you guys tell me if I'm off base on this, but shouldn't the punt returner know the time on the clock and the spacing on the field and where they're at when he gets the ball, so that he can either go out of bounds to stop the clock so that your team can kick a field goal? Thank God we didn't need those 3 points.
he was aware. He was aware. He was aware of it.
Let me finish, okay? No. Let me finish. Okay?
I am.
If he was aware of it, then then he's being selfish by trying to score again, thinking he could score as time ran out on the thing, and of course he gets caught and gets tackled. He's not going to score on every time he touches the ball. I think he should have been. I think he should have been smart, gone out of bounds, let the field goal team come on and get 3 points at the end of the half. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I'm wrong, but that's my personal opinion. He should not have tried to score.
I just listened to what he said after the game, and he said he was totally aware how much time there was left. He says, when I kicked the ball, I was trying to have it in my head. But he says, I'm dodging people. I'm busy running. He said, it's about impossible to. He said, and that's what happened. And he got down he got down right at 0, so I think he did the best he could, Dean, but, I don't know.
I think
okay. All right. These guys.
My guess is, in the heat of the moment, he's trying to get as much as he can, and then, in his head, he knew, he either needed to get down or get out of bounds within a certain time. But then, the return ended up I think at one point he went from in his head going, I can score. Like he got maybe a little further than even he thought he was going to get. And, by the time he realized that he wasn't going to be able to, it was too late.
Yeah. Okay. Mike says, I don't have a problem with that. He's a college. He's a college, I'm sure he meant guy, trying to make a play. Hackwell thinks that was impossible for him to know. Well, I think he just proved you wrong, Jason, because in his interview, he said he was aware. Okay.
I think he was aware of how much time he had, but, that's like you're asking an awful lot of a guy who has 11 guys barreling down on him to keep.
If I remember right, he caught that ball near the left sideline. All he had to do was catch it, step up. Field goal team comes on, kicks the field goal. We're up 3 points at the half.
Well, it all worked, but it's certainly something that had we lost the game, maybe we look back on but
yeah.
It seems
Jason, you should just come on the show with your opinions. You're typing a lot, and you need to come on live.
It seems how Weegen appears to be the only guy that can score from more than 4 yards out. I'm not going to fault him.
All right.
If it was a mistake, it was a mistake. You know, quarterbacks miss an open guy once in a while, and a punt returner can't tick down 22 seconds in his head too accurately while he's running, probably. But
Yeah.
I forgive him.
Now, here's something I didn't catch. Oh, yeah. Okay. On return yards, Rex Roth was credited with his 1 yard on his interception. Terrell Washington only got 5 on his only shot to return. Drew Stevens again missed a field goal, 40 yard. That should be a chip shot for him.
Yeah.
And the snap was good on that missed field goal. You can't blame it on the snapper, right? When they
Terrell
replayed
Washington
it.
Jr. almost
Yeah.
lost that kickoff.
Yeah, the guy just mentioned that, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So my question on moving these guys over past the hash marks or something, because it used to be it looked like they were closer to head on in the goal, but now it looks like they're coming in at a way harder angle. It looks like, and I'm wondering if that's his misses this year. Like the closer you are, and the further left or right you are to the goalpost, harder to hit. Maybe I'm wrong.
Dean, you might be
Just something
making
to
a
think
great
about.
point, but none of us can understand it.
Yeah, your internet ain't
Why?
working very good, Dean. You were breaking up.
Neither
But
your-
anyway, if you're talking about hash marks on field goals, the hash marks are the same width as the field goal posts. That's why in the NFL, the field goal posts are much narrower. That's why the hash marks are closer in the middle of the field. So the hash marks, all they represent is the width of the uprights. So, college kickers
Got
get a
it.
much wider
it.
upright
Okay.
to aim at. So it's much harder to kick in the NFL than it is college. So.
We lost Dean.
Okay.
He'll be back.
Let's say, I don't know. Lukemire had a really good second half after struggling in the first half. Llewellyn
The
had a
entire
good.
defense did.
Llewellyn was probably our best defensive player. He had a good game from start to finish. You know, but
It wasn't a great game for the linebackers, but Rutgers didn't really run the football.
no.
So, and then, when we're asking linebackers to cover in pass coverage, I mean, it was.
Yeah. Sherrar had a terrible day in pass coverage. Harold graded out. A lot of people seem to want to hate on Harold for some reason, but Harold had the better grades as far as covering receivers. Sherrar's probably a little better at rushing the passer and against the run maybe, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, here
We got to carry the ball here, Paul.
Yeah.
Talk about whatever you want to.
And again, I think Rutgers is a much improved team. I think they have good skill position players. But I look at what's happening with Wisconsin, and that you have to be able to run the football in the Big Ten. You do. With few exceptions, if you cannot run the football and you cannot stop the run, you are going to be in the bottom of the standings.
Yep. That's Nebraska learned that yesterday. Michigan runs for almost 300 yards. Indiana almost ran for 300 yards against Illinois. Everybody's talking about the Indiana quarterback. I'm guilty of it. And they were missing their number one tailback. And they still just ran up and down the field against Illinois running the ball. So, yeah, running the ball is damn important. It's like.
And, I think they have a pretty good running back. Rutgers does. They're decent. They're just not there yet along the line of scrimmage.
Their
And-
defense isn't near as good as it usually is.
No.
Their secondary is awful. And usually that's the strength of the Rutgers team is running the ball and defense. You know?
And special teams.
Yeah. This year they got a quarterback, which they normally don't, you know.
Well, and you know that again, this is for the fans that want Kirk out. You have to understand how hard it is to win these football games. And, you know, even when you have good quarterback play and really good receivers, it is hard to have it all unless you're Ohio State and you can pay $20 million for your roster.
Well, I told Dean this week, it was unbelievable, but Texas Tech last year spent $148 million on NIL.
Yeah.
That was for women's sports and men's sports. It's nice to have oil money, you know. And
Right.
and people were arguing, well, Signetti has turned it around a lot faster than Hayden did. You know, but he also has 2 billionaires. You know, each year he gets 35 transfers to come in.
Right.
You know, their backup running back, Mr. Hemby from the University of Maryland, didn't come cheap, and he's a backup.
Right.
You know, so and whoever takes Kirk's place is not going to have 35 million in NIL like the other Big Ten teams do. We're going to have our 20 million in revenue share, and then maybe 3, 4, 5 million donated, you know, from us fans who don't donate enough. By the way, donate to the Swarm, if you will. So,
But overall, I came away impressed with Rutgers. I think they're going to be competitive in a lot of their games.
yeah.
And, because, you know, even though they're maybe not up to their standards on defense, they're going to score points. If you can, you know, give Phil Parker heartburn, they're going to put up points against other teams, especially teams that aren't as consistent as Iowa is.
Mm-hmm.
So I look for them to. Now they've got a pretty tough slate of games coming up. Not as tough as Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about gauntlet?
I'll just say this. I have no idea, Paul. I have no idea who Rutgers is going to play next week. I have no clue. I know it's a Big Ten team, unless they have a bye. But whoever's Rutgers playing next week, as long as it ain't Oregon, you know, Penn State, Rutgers is going to be tough to beat next week.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee that. I'd like to know who the hell they're playing, but anyway, I wouldn't want to play Rutgers next week because they're going to be pissed about losing this game.
Yeah.
And they played really well.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
I really came away impressed.
They outgained Iowa.
Yeah. Well, we had to take a 103-yard kickoff return off our yardage.
Exactly.
And that ruined our time of possession. I think they might have, the time of possession ended up pretty even, but in the first half we were behind by like 8 minutes because of our kickoff return. You know.
Yeah, and
But
both teams offensively came out and executed really well. So, I mean, this idea too that, you know, if we don't get that big kickoff return, you know, I honestly believe that we might have put together a pretty good drive.
Yeah.
Because I've got, you know,
Paul's
evidence.
frozen.
No, Paul ain't frozen.
Hello.
It's you,
Dean, you're the one
Not
that gets
anymore.
frozen.
He
Huh?
was.
you're the one that gets froze, Pete. Dean, Paul is.
Okay.
It's just your
The
end over
Rutgers
there.
are at the Fighting PJ Flex. The Rutgers is at the Fighting PJ Flex next week. Just for the
Okay, I'll pick Rutgers over Minnesota.
I
How's
think
that?
so.
Yeah,
I would.
but
I would.
mhm.
So, guys, let's just kind of wrap this up because we're having such issues and we've lost a lot of viewers because of the issues with the internet. And I don't know what to do about Tuesday at this point if things don't change. Okay. So,
Okay.
any
You're
last
not gonna
comments
be
you
in-
guys want to say?
You're not going to be back in California by Tuesday or Thursday.
No, on
Dean?
Thursday I'll be on an airplane. I'll be on an airplane Thursday.
Okay. Okay.
And Wednesday I will be somewhere else. I have to do Tuesday, but I've got to figure this internet thing out.
All right.
All right, guys. Let's just say goodbye. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties tonight. This had the makings of a really good show, and we had some fun with it. And I apologize, but I hope you guys enjoyed what you could.
Well,
Yeah.
re-listen to
everybody.
it, Dean. Re-listen to it, Dean. You missed about half of it, so.
All right. All righty. Let's get out of here.
All right.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.